Hi everyone, my name is Kate Emerald, the founder of Life of Emerald. Today I am running a webinar on astrology. Particularly, we're going to focus on Jupiter and Pluto conjunction in the sky in 2020. So Jupiter and conjunction, as if they're dancing together in the sky. Let's have a look at the timeline between March and November in 2020. And when it comes to Jupiter and Pluto, it's important to understand each planet individually in itself. And then together later, we're going to try and add and find the milieu, the flavor. So what you see here on the screen on the left, the glyph, almost like a half fork, is called Jupiter. And Jupiter is the largest planet, biggest planet in our solar system, and it's the association of Jupiter is benevolence, wisdom, and luck, and so on. And so when have a look at the glyph on the right hand side, and that is called Pluto. What does it look like to you? Let's see. To me, it looks like an eye looking at, and be held by a chalice, like a torch. And Pluto is associated with the underworld, the unseen, the unconscious, and the death and rebirth. And what we have in the middle is it's called conjunction, and that symbolizes when two planets are on the either side, and you have the conjunction sign, meaning these two planets are close together in terms of from the Earth's perspective. So the energy tend to amplify. And Jupiter is the planet of growth, archetypically related to personal growth, higher learning, long distance travel, optimism, abundance, prosperity, philanthropy, moral code of society, and expansion. Imagine that for now, and let's look at Pluto. Pluto is the underworld, the shadow. The shadow is, according to Carl Jung, the part of us we shove it away due to cultural conditioning or parental conditioning. For example, if my mom told me that feeling anger as a child is not a good thing, then I'm going to label anger as a negative and sort of ignore anger until maybe later when life throws me events when I express anger and such and such. So shadow is that. Shadow is part of us that we repress. And Pluto also relates to taboo, the whole area of our animal sexuality, and death and rebirth, and soul's evolution. Pluto is necessary in order for us to evolve. Evolve with change, evolve with conflict, evolve with pressure. And when we combine the Jupiter and Pluto, the Jupiter expansion and success, Pluto the death and rebirth, we see this type of energy playing out in the current state of the planet. First, in March 28th through April 7th, what happened then? If you revisit these time period, the world is going through coronavirus crisis, and specifically on April 5th, could you revisit what you were doing then, April 5th, and what was important to you that day? And ask yourself, what clarity did I gain on that day about my life? Okay, so now moving on, June 23rd to July 9th, Jupiter and Pluto are going to come together again. So imagine, the two planets are dancing together in the cosmos, and because Jupiter travels in a certain speed, Pluto travels in a certain speed, they're going to sort of, from an Earth's perspective, go, come together and then go apart and then come together. And in June and July of 2020, they're going to be in retrograde, meaning from the Earth's perspective again, the speed in which they're traveling is going to look and feel like they're going backwards. So this is a time of revisiting what hasn't completed in our life. And if you're a spiritual person, you can definitely get in touch with past life milieu, that flavor. And if you're not spiritual, that's all right. Everyone is spiritual in my belief. Just it's a language syntax. Just tune in to your heart and see what am I here? What am I here to do on Earth? Like, what am I passionate about? And can I do this now? Absolutely, you can. And try to look at this year as finishing the unfinished project, and that you're perfectly capable of completing that. You have the power. So now let's go to November 8th through November 12th. That's when Jupiter and Pluto also come together, now this time in direct. So if you take a theme from March to November in 2020, and whatever the life throws at you, the lemon, you wanna make it into a lemonade, and meaning that use this time to really revisit what you really desire and your passion. And the Jupiter and Pluto, they're dancing in the sky in Capricorn, and the Capricorn archetype has a flavor of realism, practical, wisdom, integrity to life, is discipline, has to do with organization, is caution, and authoritative. And the cardinal sign is Capricorn, and it has a flavor of initiation and new beginning. So if we look at the macro cosmic perspective of what's happening in the financial world and the government, and put the Jupiter and Pluto together there, we are really asked to revisit what is realistically important in my life, in your life, in our life, and as a society as a whole. What is practical? Like, can we accept the reality that we have built this civilization on lies? Can we accept that? And what can we do from here with wisdom, integrity to life? We have been washed over, in my perspective, with capitalism advertisement to what life is and what life is, what life isn't. And so when we revisit the ancient traditions, what was integrity for them? Was it head-based or heart-based? Is it heart and head-based together? Balance? We have to discover that together. And yes, the last Jupiter and Pluto conjunction happened in 2008, and that's when the financial industry crashed, I believe. So, the world is changing permanently in here on 2020, whatever is happening with Corona epidemic, whatever happening in your life, in my life, in America, and in Asia, China, in Europe. This is for permanent. So why not look for opportunity so that we can, be realistic and not fight the current, and move forward with realism. So the opportunity of this time in 2020 is understanding your real power. And how we do that is by silence, getting in touch with your soul, your heart. If you're working in a corporate world for many years until this time, and let's say if you've lost your job, it's okay. I understand the pain, but can you be honest with yourself for a moment? Like, did you really love that job? What can you really do that fuels your love for life? Mm-hmm. So the second opportunity is just trust the change. You know, in the Buddhism philosophy, life is suffering and there's no changing about that. But the gift in life is our power to see from a different angle. And it's about perspective shifting. And yeah, trust the change. Don't fight the wave. Go with the flow and see what you can make the best out of it. And the third opportunity is trusting your own authority. Looking at the politicians, and for many years, and I know this from experience, the government and the mass media bind us in a double standard. They say one thing and they do the other thing. So I don't see the point of giving my power away to the governmental authority, but why don't we trust our own authority as a sovereign being, tune into our meditation and silence and meditation, and doing yoga is great, and your authority, your intuition, and also when you get in touch with your authority, I find that I tend to become more grounded and more loving to speak my truth and respecting another person's perspective. So there's peace. So let's go on to the Q&A. I know there, Thais and Kevin, you guys are on the other side. You guys have any questions so far?
No, I don't have any. You're doing great. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin, do you have any questions?
No, not right now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Party going on there. All right. So do you guys need any self-care strategy so far?
No, it's just business as usual for me.
Let me ask you, Tayed, what are the things that you do to take care of yourself? You sound like you're surfing.
Well, what I try to do is, for the most part, just kind of follow my own bliss. I think that's mostly what's keeping me kind of balanced is, there's a balance of work and just maintaining, life as a human being. I do work full time, so there's that. It's pretty, mentally exhausting, but I try to balance it with the things that I enjoy doing. And then I try to rest as much as possible. That's been a challenge for me because I kind of ride the waves, like the highs, especially because I live with a bunch of generators. So I try to give myself some space so I can decompress and kind of be in my own aura. But at the same time, I do live closely with generators and I do kind of use their energy to kind of ride the waves to get things done. So I try to kind of monitor those things and as much as I can and try to balance pretty much. I mean, I have my days, believe me, I do. And I try to recognize when I'm not being myself, or when I'm kind of in transference, which over the course of, I guess, the last couple of years, I've been able to recognize it enough to make a sound decision on whether or not I'm going to engage, or if I'm going to, excuse myself from whatever situation that's going to bring me into transference, and then just kind of play it out. So, I know going in sometimes when I'm taking myself out of my own element that the consequences are going to be rough. So I try to kind of leverage that. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, is just taking it day by day, not having too many expectations. I have innocence motivation, so that's been hard, just kind of not having an agenda and recognizing that, if there is a desire to lead or get in front, that it's not me. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Thais. You mentioned the generator and the authority and innocence and all that. Those terms come from human design, and this is for my audience. And human design is very unique. It's a combination of astrology, ancient Kabbalah, and Kabbalah. Was it Kabbalah?
Yeah. It's human design and astrology. Well, human design is astrology, and there's a couple different other.
Yeah, Chinese I Ching and quantum physics. They're all together. And it sounds like, Thais, you have a lot of self-awareness, and this is important in knowing just who you are based on the human design, astrology, so that when things like this happen, like in the world in 2020, you can really be, metaphorically, be a surfer in life and not really drown. Like, imagine if I did not know astrology or human design today, right? I would not know what I would be doing,
Yeah.
I would be meshed with the rest of the collective, trying to swim to survive. Image I get. Yeah. So, let's see. Kevin, do you have any feedback or comment or any questions that arise as of now?
No, this was just a nice basic overview.
Yeah, and are you aware of your human design, Kevin?
My what?
Human design?
So I'm having a little trouble hearing you. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi, sorry, what was the question?
Are you, what type are you in human design?
Oh, UX design?
Yes. I think the audio isn't the best right now, so we'll catch up later, okay? So let's end it here. What I do is I guide corporate executives and politicians to make mindful decisions so you and we can change the world powerfully. And I'm currently looking for clients. And my Instagram handle is lifeofemerald_s. And I can be reached at lifeofemerald@gmail.com. So yeah, I'm just putting that out there for anyone looking for guidance, and hopefully we'll see you. See you later. Bye.